Well, let's now go to Durban in KwaZulu-Natal, where SABC News reporter Mlondi Radebe is standing by to give us the latest on this final voter registration weekend. Mlondi, good afternoon to you. KwaZulu-Natal is expected to be one of the most closely watched provinces in these local government elections. So what has the atmosphere been like at the voter registration centres in Durban today?
Thank you very much, Simpi, where we did visit some of the voting stations around Durban as well as Pietermaritzburg, where we find that some of the members of the public are going to the voting stations to register, but they're not coming as more numbers as we would have expected. But what the provincial electoral officer Ntomfuthi Masinga is mentioning is that the online registration is also active. That is why we don't see numbers that are coming to the stations. We'll just speak to the Ntomfuthi Masinga about today's voting, the weekend that this is the last weekend for the voter registration. So far, how are the numbers looking?
We last checked the numbers around midday, and already out of the 278 people that had showed up at voting stations, 23% of them had come from KZN. It was too early in the day. We do expect that the numbers are not going to be as big as we expected, because there's activity both at voting stations, but there's also activity on our online platform. At the end of the day tomorrow, we'll be able to see the breakdown between people who came to voting stations and those that chose to use our online platform, which we are also promoting since the first registration weekend, when it became a free service to voters, when it got 0 rated. So we are looking at both figures. We expect that we need to see more or less an equal split, because there are people who still believe very much in going to voting stations vis-a-vis doing everything online from the comforts of their homes.
We did see some challenges during the day. In Mandeni, there was also a challenge where the members of the ANC complained, saying that the MK members were in the voting station with their T-shirts distributing. What is the IEC saying in relation to that?
Once we have demarcated a boundary of a voting station, no party political activity is allowed within the vicinity of the boundary that we would have established. So that was picked up, but when it was reported and the party was approached, the party did move. Sometimes it's a matter of saying people think that our voting station is only the classroom that we are using in a school, whereas when we do demarcation to indicate where the boundary of the voting station starts at the end, it depends on the layout of the school. Sometimes it's possible for us to just demarcate the entire school. Sometimes, because of the size of the school, we'll only demarcate the block that we are using. In this case, the classroom, if it was next door, then it interferes with what is not permissible within the boundary of a voting station. But the good thing is that the party affected, or the party involved, cooperated, and they did move from the premises.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time.
Thank you.
That was Ntomfuthi Masinga briefing us in relation to the province of KwaZulu-Natal and how did they work in the first day of the last weekend of voter registration. Back to you in studio, Simpiwe.
All right, Mlondi, thank you so much for joining us. Mlondi Radebe there, speaking to us live from Durban in KwaZulu-Natal, as all the voter registration centres in South Africa have closed for the day.